One of the last families standing in a Bay of Plenty settlement at risk from an extreme weather event has reluctantly agreed to leave as part of a managed retreat, but it will be a longer goodbye. Most Awatarariki residents have already negotiated the sale of their properties to the Whakatāne District Council and will leave by March next year. Now, two generations of the Whalley family, arguably the staunchest critics of the council's retreat process, have finally sealed a deal, giving them an extra year before they have to abandon their much-loved coastal home. This all started in 2005 after a torrential downpour washed masses of debris down the flooded Awatarariki stream, destroying dozens of homes. Residents were initially allowed back with plans for risk mitigation, but 6 years later, the Whakatāne District Council changed its mind, declaring a managed retreat the only viable option, leading to a long and bitter battle. I asked Rachel Whalley why she's decided to finally give up the fight.
We were seeking a sunset clause to enable Mum to stay in her family home. What we got was another year extension to our stay here. And that was our bottom line for seeking settlement, and that was what we agreed to do.
So that extra year allows you what, Rachel?
Well, it allows us time to spend with Mum. It allows us time to be able to plan our move forward, to take all the special memories that she has here and, get another family home together somewhere else. We were asking for in perpetuity. It's a huge wrench to move from our home. It's a huge wrench for Mum. So we were asking for in perpetuity. We didn't get it. So, this is the next best thing, really.
How old is she now?
I'm 78.
So is the settlement that you got fair?
Is it fair? The prices we have for our homes, the settlement, the whole process, I think, it's a bigger process. The whole process, I believe, has been unfair, and that's why we were fighting it. And this settlement is just one part of a very long process. And the way that it was set up was never going to be winnable, I think, for the community here. I think that the council should have worked with the people here instead of against the people here. And setting aside all of that, it's not about the RMA, it's not about the natural hazards, it's about how councils work with their communities. And that whole process has been really unfair for the community here.
So ultimately the price you are being paid for the house, is it market value?
It's the market value according to their valuers from 2019. We were strongly advised early in the year to take up these offers while they were still there. It's always been voluntary to take these offers. Because COVID would change everything. Well, now we found it has changed everything, but actually prices have gone through the roof. So last year's market value is nowhere near this year's market value for properties here.
The other argument, though, Rachel, is that a house that you can't live in, land that you can't occupy, is not worth anything. So How do you reconcile those two positions?
Well, it is about our family home, and it was about the ability to stay here. And we do know that, if things had been differently, if you had put things on the limb, if you had worked through different opportunities, if people are prepared to take the risks of an area they know they're living in, then that's up to those people. For our family, and it's multi-generational, from Rick's great-grandmother also lived here, is that we were prepared to stay here in perpetuity as well.
Is the risk up to the people occupying the house, though? Because the thing is, there's implications. If there were to be debris that came down and if someone did lose their life and the council has done nothing to move people on or mitigate that or retreat, call it what you will, they would be facing potentially liabilities. So the council doesn't have a choice, does it, but to deal with this?
Yeah, there are ways of dealing with it, and they haven't been contested. So, we are staying on with conditions of an early warning system and evacuation plan. That's a part of the conditions of staying on. But the whole scenario around this really hasn't been tested. We've been the guinea pigs in this situation. The government funded the retreat as an example to inform the community resilience work stream. But, we can't contest it unless we're fully supported to. So it's not a two-way thing. So the council and the experts can say this, but it hasn't been truly tested. So that's going to be for the next community in this situation to deal with.
You have suggested the idea of an inquiry.
Well, I think, everything that's come out of this has got future implications for people who are in similar situations that we have found ourselves in. And I would hate for anybody to go through what we have been through for the last 3 years, really fully hands-on, for the last 15 years since the event. It needs to be opened up for critical inquiry about what really needs to happen in these situations. And don't just throw us under the bus as an example, because we're not going to inform it unless it's fully played out. And it hasn't been. We've withdrawn. So it won't be played out unless somebody else picks it up.
Some people watching will go, oh, it's just a house. Move out. What would you say?
Well, obviously, it's not just a house, it's a family home. It's where we spend our time with our family, where memories are built. It's just a beautiful place in Matatā, and anybody who lives here will tell you that. Where we live has cultural significance too. We're here, and I know that not everybody wants us to be down here, but we've lived here for 30 years. It's our home. It's where we've had many happy times here. So it's not just a house.
The clock is against you, though, isn't it, Rachel? It's ticking down. So in the end, you will be going. Where are you going to go? Do you know?
Locally. Not in Matatā, probably. Mum wants to be around places she knows, people she knows. Will be moving somewhere locally. And we've got 2 more good summers ahead of us, and we'll make the most of them.
Rachel Whalley speaking there.